History is marked by epic confrontations, moments when the ambitions of great leaders collide and the fate of entire civilizations hangs in the balance. But few rival the clash that unfolded on the Anatolian plains, a meeting that would echo through the centuries. Two of the world's most powerful rulers, Bayezid I in the west and Timur in the east, were on a collision course, their destinies set on a path toward inevitable conflict. Both were brilliant commanders, driven by ambition and pride, each believing he was destined to rule the world and leave a legacy that would outlast the ages. Bayezid, the Ottoman Sultan, had conquered the Balkans, subdued rival kingdoms, and threatened the mighty city of Constantinople itself. Timur, known as Tamerlane, had built an empire stretching from the heart of India to the frozen steppes of Russia, uniting vast lands under his iron rule. Their confrontation was inevitable. The world simply wasn't big enough for both of their ambitions to coexist. This was more than a battle. It was a contest of legacies, a struggle for supremacy, and a clash of visions for the future of empires. Bayezid, called Yildirim or the Thunderbolt, was famed for his speed, ferocity, and relentless drive on the battlefield. He crushed Crusader armies, expanded his disciplined, centralized Ottoman state at a breathtaking pace, and inspired both fear and admiration among his enemies. Timur, a master strategist and ruthless tactician, claimed descent from Genghis Khan and sought to rebuild the Mongol Empire in his own image. His campaigns were legendary for both their military brilliance and their sheer brutality, leaving a trail of shattered cities in his wake. Cities that resisted him were destroyed without mercy. His empire was held together by fear, loyalty, and his unbreakable iron will. In the sweltering summer of 1402, these two titans finally met, their armies drawn up on the sun-baked plains near Ankara. The plains near Ankara became the stage for one of history's most epic and consequential showdowns. The outcome would not only decide the fate of two empires but would also reshape the political map of the world for generations to come. The fate of Constantinople, the future of Europe, and the destiny of Islamic civilization all hung in the balance as armies prepared for war. The stakes could not have been higher. Every soldier, every commander knew the world was about to change forever. One man would emerge as master of the age, his name etched into the chronicles of history. The other would face utter ruin, his dreams shattered, and his empire left in ashes. The world held its breath, waiting to see which titan would triumph and which would fall. Sultan Bayezid I embodied power and ambition, a ruler whose very name struck fear and awe into the hearts of his rivals. He inherited a strong and prosperous state from his father Murad I, and wasted no time in making it even stronger. Bayezid rapidly expanded his realm, earning the nickname the Thunderbolt for his lightning-fast campaigns that left his enemies reeling. He was a leader who inspired loyalty, leading from the front and moving his armies across vast distances with astonishing speed and precision. His greatest triumph came at Nicopolis in 1396, where he annihilated a massive Crusader army, cementing his reputation as invincible and unstoppable. Under Bayezid's rule, the Ottoman Empire became a true superpower, feared across Europe and the Middle East, its influence growing with every victory. He didn't stop in the west, he turned east, conquering Turkish principalities and uniting Anatolia under his banner, forging a new era for the Ottomans. But this relentless expansion bred resentment. Displaced Turkish princes, stripped of their lands, fled to Timur's court, fueling future conflict and intrigue. By 1400, Bayezid stood at the very height of his power, besieging Constantinople and ruling a rich, well-organized empire that seemed destined for greatness. His elite janissaries and Sipahi cavalry formed the backbone of his formidable military machine, unmatched in discipline and skill, yet his rapid rise made him overconfident, blinding him to the dangers lurking on the horizon. He believed no one could challenge him, convinced of his own invincibility, but enemies were gathering in the east, plotting his downfall. The Turkish nobles he had displaced would soon play a crucial role in the coming storm. Bayezid's confidence blinded him to the storm approaching, a threat greater than any he had faced before. He was about to face a challenge unlike any before, one that would test every ounce of his strength and resolve. The Thunderbolt's greatest test was coming, a clash that would echo through history. And it would shake the very foundations of the empire to its core, changing the fate of Bayezid and the Ottomans forever. In the east, Timur, Tamerlane, was forging an empire through sheer will and military genius. Born in modern Uzbekistan, he rose from minor nobility, undeterred by a crippling injury that earned him the name the Lame. Timur saw himself as Genghis Khan's heir, waging relentless campaigns for nearly 40 years. His armies combined steppe tactics, siege warfare, and psychological terror. He moved vast, diverse forces across continents, crushing resistance with ruthless efficiency. Cities that defied him were obliterated, towers of skulls marked his path. By 1400, Timur's empire stretched from China to the Mediterranean. He shattered the Golden Horde, conquered Persia, and sacked Delhi. His rule was personal, held together by loyalty and fear. Samarkand, his capital, became a center of art and culture, even as he remained a warrior at heart. Now in his 60s, Timur's hunger for conquest was undiminished. With the east subdued, he turned his gaze west, to Bayezid. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the world. The rivalry between Timur and Bayezid quickly turned personal. Displaced Turkish princes, ousted by Bayezid, found refuge with Timur and urged him to intervene. Timur demanded Bayezid's submission. Bayezid, proud and defiant, refused. Their exchanges became legendary for their venom. Insults flew, each questioning the other's legitimacy. Military provocations followed. Timur seized Ottoman cities, Bayezid sheltered Timur's enemies. Both harbored each other's rivals, fueling the fire. At its core, the conflict was about dominance. Who would rule the Islamic world? Pride and ambition left no room for compromise. War was inevitable. In spring 1402, both armies marched, turning Anatolia into a battlefield. Timur led a massive, diverse force: horse archers, Persian cavalry, and war elephants from India. Bayezid's army, though smaller, was professional and disciplined, anchored by janissaries and Sipahi cavalry. But many of his cavalry were from recently conquered beyliks, their loyalty uncertain. Timur, ever the strategist, feinted east, luring Bayezid on a grueling march. Then he swung west, seizing Ankara and choosing the battlefield. Bayezid's exhausted army was forced to double back under the blazing sun. Timur diverted the main water source, leaving the Ottomans parched and demoralized. Before battle began, Timur had already outmaneuvered the thunderbolt. The Ottomans faced a dire disadvantage. The stage was set for disaster. On July 28, 1402, two mighty armies met near Ankara, beneath a scorching, relentless sun. The air shimmered with heat, and the fate of empires hung in the balance. Sultan Bayezid placed his finest troops, the elite janissaries and Sipahi cavalry, at the very heart of his formation, flanked on both sides by experienced Balkan and Anatolian cavalry. His lines stretched with confidence, banners fluttering in the hot wind. Opposite them, Timur's vast army spread wide across the plain, war elephants armored and ready at the front, with disciplined reserves waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The Ottomans struck first, surging forward, but Timur's nimble horse archers unleashed a hail of arrows, skillfully luring the Anatolian cavalry away from their lines and into a deadly trap. Then came a devastating betrayal. Many Anatolian cavalrymen, swayed by old loyalties or promises, suddenly defected to Timur, turning their weapons against their former comrades in a shocking reversal. The Ottoman right wing, caught off guard and outflanked, collapsed in chaos. Soldiers fled, and confusion spread through the ranks. On the left, Serbian knights under Bayezid's ally Stefan fought with unmatched bravery, holding their ground against overwhelming odds, refusing to yield. But Timur's fresh reserves and his terrifying war elephants crashed through their lines, shattering any hope of resistance. Soon, only Bayezid and his loyal janissaries remained, encircled and cut off from escape, making a desperate last stand. Refusing to abandon his men or his honor, Bayezid climbed a hill and prepared for a final defiant stand, rallying his remaining soldiers for one last fight. The janissaries fought with legendary courage, but their numbers dwindled with every passing moment, exhaustion and despair setting in. As darkness fell over the blood-soaked field, Bayezid attempted a daring escape, but he was captured by Timur's men under the pale moonlight. The thunderbolt, once thought invincible and feared across continents, was now a prisoner, his fate sealed by defeat. The Ottoman army lay shattered, its remnants scattered across the plain. The unthinkable had happened, and the world would never be the same. News of the Sultan's defeat spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves across kingdoms and empires far beyond Anatolia. In a single day, the fate of empires had changed forever, and the balance of power in the region was upended. The age of Bayezid was over, and a new, uncertain era had begun. Bayezid's capture stunned the world and shattered the Ottoman Empire. With the Sultan gone, the state collapsed. Timur sacked cities and restored old Turkish princes. Bayezid died in captivity, leaving his sons to fight a brutal civil war, the Ottoman interregnum. For over a decade, the empire was paralyzed, its expansion halted, its survival in doubt. Constantinople, once besieged, was spared, giving the Byzantines a crucial reprieve. In Europe, Bayezid's defeat was celebrated, the Ottoman threat vanished overnight. For Timur, Ankara was his crowning victory, making him master of the Muslim world. But his triumph was fleeting, he soon died and his empire fractured. The battle destroyed both victor and vanquished. The Ottomans would eventually recover, but the dream of immediate conquest was lost. The world map was redrawn and the course of history changed. The Battle of Ankara stands as a lesson in the fleeting nature of power. Two men's ambitions reshaped the world, but not as they intended. History once again had the final word.